Stock splits have been one of the biggest stories so far this year. You had Nvidia that just did their split just a few days ago. You had Chipotle, a stock split that I did predict would happen. And then you have Broadcom, who just announced their stock split about 2 or 3 days ago. And that ticker symbol is AVGO. So, who could be next and how well are these stocks doing right now? Let's go ahead and break it down. All right, so I've got a list of companies I think could be next and how well these companies are doing. I will give you a warning right now. One of these companies is not on your radar right now, and one of these is poised to make history. So I'll start off with the company that is not on your radar, but there's a reason why this one isn't, okay? And then we'll end with the one that isn't, but for a reason that it should be. Okay, so first, ServiceNow. ServiceNow right now is about $731 per share. It is a tech company. We've talked about it several years ago. They are a service as a software company. I think that's what SaaS stands for. It's late, okay? I normally record videos at a different time of the day. It's been a long day. Okay, but stock market is closed tomorrow for Juneteenth. For those that don't know, it is a new federal holiday, but it has been a holiday for several years, several hundred years at this point. But ServiceNow is an okay company. Okay, it's not a stock, or it's an okay stock. It's not a stock that I would rush out and buy. It is up just 5% in the last 6 months, but up 29% over the last year, which is pretty good. So you know, now I will say this though, there is no magic number that stock price has to get to where they just have to split. Okay, it is really up to the CEO and the board and what y'all vote if you own shares of the company and when they decide to split. However, there just tends to be a feeling when these things do happen. So again, this is just my own observation, no scientific evidence or proof. I would say, you know, 1,000, 1,500, 2,500, 3,000-ish tends to be when these things happen, at least from what I have observed. That is not scientific proof. Okay, so right now, $731 per share is where they are. If they were to split, I'd be looking around that $1,000 range or so. If they were to split, and that is assuming that the company continues to do well and move in that direction. That's a big assumption for all of these companies on this list. Next here is the one who could make history. That is Meta. That is because Meta has never done a stock split. It is $499 per share, right around $499 per share. It's up 49% in the last 6 months and up 77% in the last year. It's not just that Meta could make history, it is they are the only Magnificent Seven company that has never done a stock split. When I say Magnificent Seven, these are the, let's call these the name brand companies, if you will. These used to be known as the FANG stock. So I think it's Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google were the acronym, and we used to switch companies out here all the time because Google was Google and then it became Alphabet, so then it was G to A and it got crazy. So anyway, we renamed these and then we threw in NVIDIA and it became, you know, Magnificent Seven, and you throw Tesla in there. It got crazy, okay? Anyway, the main thing is this. These companies, when you combine them, we talked about this before, they represent, I forget what the exact number was, the performance of those companies make up the vast majority of the stock market returns. Okay, I don't want to quote you on the exact number because I could be off from my memory, but when they do well, the majority of the stock market does do well. So they are the only one that's never done a stock split here. That's it. We've covered almost every other company in that Magnificent Seven list that has done a stock split if they've done it in the history of this channel, especially within the last 4 or 5 years. We know we've done Apple. We know we've done Tesla, right? We know we've done Alphabet. We've done the vast majority every time they have announced a stock split. We've done NVIDIA. We just talked about that one, right? When have we ever done Meta? They have not done it. And again, they are close to $500 a share. The question is, at what point would they do it? Are they even open to doing it? And again, at what price point? Now, my question is, what I would expect, I would not expect it to happen this year. Okay, I just throw that out there right now. If they were to announce it in 2024, I would be shook. Okay, absolutely shook. Because, again, there's no like price level where they have to announce it or anything like that. I just feel, this is a feeling, because I don't work there. I don't have no insider information or anything like that. I would just expect it to come somewhere around that, like, again, anywhere between $800 and $1,000 per share. But that's an assumption. So the stock would have to continue to do well over the next 2 to 3 years. So that's where I would expect it. And again, there's an assumption. So, for a stock to continue on this pace, a little unrealistic for me to expect that. Okay, so for me to sit here and be like, hey, this company's going to do 77% for the next 3 years in a row, is unrealistic for me to just with a straight face say that. Now, for investors of it, and if I own it, I sure hope so. Okay, so if you own the stock, I want that for you. If I own the stock, I definitely want that for me. But if the stock continues to do well and it hits those levels, that's where I would start to increase the level or the percentage of my expectation for that to occur. My expectation right now, I'm like below 5% for 2024. The closer it gets to $800, the closer it gets to $1,000, the higher my expectation is. Right now, though, it's at $500. So this is one I'd stick in my back pocket for now, but it's one that I would expect to happen. It's the only one in the Magnificent Seven that has not done a stock split yet. I don't think it's going to be there for long. All right. Next year is Microsoft. This one is, to me, it is a matter of time. They have done a stock split 9 times in the company's history. Now, that is not the most astounding stat in the world because they're an old company. They've been around for a very long time. So it's not like a, big revelation here. Now, and I'll put this stat on the screen, but if I am correct, I think the last time they did a stock split was 2003. It has been some time. It has been some time since they've done a stock split. And again, if I'm correct and it was 2003, it's been about 21 years. It's about time for y'all to do another one. Okay, so at the moment it's $446 per share. They're up 20% in the last 6 months and up 30% over last year. Now, as of today, this could change, but as of today, and remember, stock market is closed tomorrow, but as of today, they're no longer the most valuable company on the face of the earth. They have been replaced by Nvidia. Now, would Microsoft be petty enough to announce a stock split, get people to talk about the company, and use that to try and boost their shares and take Nvidia's place and kind of flip-flop? No, I don't think so. That would be extremely petty. I don't think that, these companies move in that way. It would be funny. It would be entertaining. The company is, again, in that $400 range. Would Microsoft, just start to do that and kind of get things moving again? We'll see. I say moving again as if the stock hasn't been performing well. It has. But for Microsoft that's been around for quite some time, I would really have to go back and see how well the stock was doing 20 years ago. Again, if I am right on that date, and see what it was doing and what the price was back then, and see what the pattern has been. Again, it's happened 9 times. They must have, I'm assuming here, I need to go back and check. They must have some sort of pattern. They may have not. You do it 9 times, you may have had 9 CEOs back then. So I wonder what the pattern is. I would expect it to happen sometime soon. Okay, you define what soon is, but that's one I would definitely expect. I mean, it's been 20 something years, if my date is correct, which I hope I am, because there's gonna be a lot of corrections over here on the screen. All right, making my job a lot harder. All right, next one here is Netflix. Netflix, I apologize to Netflix. Actually, no, I take my apology back from Netflix. Okay, Netflix, which is a company we all know, right now they are $685 per share. And you'll see why I apologize when I take it back. Okay, Netflix is up 45% in the last 6 months, up 58% over last year. Now, they have done a stock split 2 times in their history thus far. Now, there was a point in Netflix's history where, and you were here, we all were, in the pandemic, stock absolutely took off. I would say 2021-ish to 2022, the stock started to fall off, partly because of higher competition. Disney Plus was taking off. Yeah, Paramount Plus. All of these competitors flooding into the streaming space as if they had just discovered it, as if Netflix were not there. And it got real ugly for Netflix. Now, during this time, I was doing a podcast called The Investing Flavor. There are clips of this podcast still on Spotify today, and there is a specific clip on Instagram, which I clipped and it is still on there. I don't delete nothing from Instagram or many places for that matter. But you can scroll back and you will see the clip of me talking about what Netflix can and should do. And I said they should invest in experiences, whether it is a hotel or a store or some place where you can, at the time I said walk into like a Bridgerton or whatever famous show that you have, sell merch, do partnerships like that, and like make it a big deal and make your TV experience in real life. That is your way to become more profitable and really make it a big deal. Really make it a big deal is what I said. Netflix is doing that. Netflix has done that. That is one of the reasons, not the only reason. One of the reasons as to why the stock is doing so well. So I was trashing Netflix because they were trash. I was going to apologize, but y'all did what I told y'all to do. So should I apologize for y'all taking my advice because you did what I told you to do? I don't know. I'm not gonna apologize for that because y'all did the right thing, which was listening to me. Cut me a check, and then I'll apologize. All right. Now, moving on to the stock that I will almost guarantee is not on your radar, and this is the one. There's the one. And we're gonna find out who's been subscribing, who's been taking notes, and who's been listening. Before we do though, I have one quick thing. We talked about, I made a post last week. I said there were two, we didn't do a video on Wednesday. I said there were two announcements. Here is one of those. So I have a box of, I have 8 of these. Okay. Tomorrow is Juneteenth, and I talk a little bit about Juneteenth in this book, but the book is called From Burning the Blueprint. You guys, the book came out in 2021. It talks about building wealth. It also talks about the Tulsa Race Massacre, my experience growing up in Tulsa, how to build wealth, how to recover from an experience like that, and investing in just ties both history and wealth building together. It's one of the only books that does both. Here is the thing though. In that box, there are only 8 books left. And there are only going to be 8 left in existence that I'm going to sign. Once those are signed and shipped out, I'm not signing any more ever. And also, these books will not be online for too much longer. Okay, so if you haven't ordered yours online or you haven't gotten one of these 8 copies, that's gonna be it. So you want to go ahead and get yours now. I'll make sure that there's a link in the bio, but it is literally 8. The copy that's up here for decoration and TV appearance and all that is gonna stay up there. That one's mine. Okay, but that's it. I'm not ordering my own copies no more. Okay, so get yours while you can. If you want one, write a message. If you want me to write your name or your cousin's name, whatever. But that's going to be it. There's a reason why, and there's a good reason. Okay, I got something special for y'all coming up soon. But you gotta get these 8. It's gonna be gone, and when I tell y'all it's gonna be gone, you're not gonna find it nowhere else unless it is currently in your local bookstore. All right. Now, on our last stock, the stock is FICO. Yes, the credit score company. Fair Isaac Corporation, for those that don't know. The stock right now is above $1,400 per share, $1,421 currently. This is a company I have talked about almost endlessly. We've talked about it many times inside Members Only. I've talked about it inside my courses. I talked about it. I invested in it. Y'all seen me invest in it. And I just bought it just quiet and just sat on it. And just sat there. I told you I was going to buy it. I bought it and that was it. Okay. The interesting thing here is this is one of those companies where they could announce a stock split and I don't think many people would care. They're not in that Magnificent Seven. They're not a quote unquote brand name like, you know, a lot of these other companies. So I don't know if it would make headlines like some of these others, but based on their performance, whether they split or not, they should, right? A Chipotle makes news because it's Chipotle and it's still a brand name. It may not be, you know, the same type of, you know, powerhouse as Nvidia, and it may not be a tech company like, you know, like Broadcom, but it is doing quite well. And it's done quite well for more than 2 years now, or at least a year and a half at minimum. This company has done very, very well, and it's flown completely under the radar for everybody who's not subscribed. I feel like if you've been a subscriber of this channel, you have heard me mention this at least once or twice over the past year and a half. Okay, so keep this one on your radar. If you haven't already, I would definitely expect a stock split. I mean, they're getting close to $2,000 per share, and there are only a handful of companies who get to that point and don't do a stock split. Chipotle was one, and they have already split. Amazon was more than $3,000 per share, and what did they do? They did a stock split several years ago as well. Again, not a guarantee. Not a guarantee. They're already at close to $1,500 per share, right? So it is one I would absolutely expect. We'll see what happens. However, if you want to know what else should be on this list or was on our original list that we did just a few months ago, you want to check out this video right here.